Bitcoin is close to becoming worthless.
Let's go. Now what's the Bitcoin?
Bitcoin's like rat poison.
Yeah. Oh,
The greatest scam in history.
let's get it.
Bitcoin will go to fucking zero.
Yeah.
Alright, you ungovernable misfits. I'm your host, Max. Everybody knows that Bitcoin is useless, worthless, and doomed to fail. But what if everyone's wrong? What if it's the system that is doomed to fail? Join me as I speak to some of the brightest people in the space and slither to the deepest, darkest depths of the Bitcoin rabbit hole. It's episode 30 of Bitcoin Monthly, or at least I think it is. And I can't believe that Bitcoin Q&A stood us up. Like standing you up on the 30th wedding anniversary, whatever that is, this is our Diamond Bitcoin Monthly. That fucking robot stood us up. Anyway, it won't be forgotten, but I am over it now. And me and Antomous had a really good catch up. This was a great episode, and I think you're going to really enjoy it. It is going out, I think, about 10 days late, so apologies for the delay. Things have been crazy this end, and one of those crazy things that has been taking a lot of my time is the clothing launch. If you haven't already checked it out, go to ungovernablemisfits.com. You will see that we have a new section. We have a clothing section. I've been working very hard on this for a long time, and so has Mr. Crown. We have some really nice designs, and we've put a lot of effort into making sure that this stuff is of the absolute highest quality. We talk about it a little bit in this show, but if you haven't already, then definitely go to ungovernablemisfits.com. I want to say a big thank you to everyone who's been supporting the show recently. All of you who've been boosting on the Podcasting 2.0 apps. We see ourselves constantly in the top 10 and often at the number 1 spot, and it's all down to you. Thank you to everyone who's been suggesting the show to friends and family. I've had loads of people reach out, especially with the recent one that I've just done with Ben Gunn, with people who have said, oh, it's the first time listening and a friend suggested it and I loved it, and it's really fucking nice. It really means a lot that you care enough about the show to share with friends and family, so thank you. Thank you also to the show sponsors. To be honest, you don't have to sponsor this show. I would shill your products regardless, and I have been even before you started sponsoring the show. I also know that you know this, so I appreciate you. I like the fact that everything that I suggest on this show is a product that I use and that I give to friends and family. That's pretty fucking cool. I currently get support from Foundation Devices, RoninDojo, and SX6.store. That's who they are, and now I'll explain why I like them so much. Foundation Devices makes my favourite hardware. It's my favourite hardware because it's fucking easy to use. It is so simple to be secure and private with Foundation Devices. It also is fully open source, and this is a team that really cares about aesthetics. So much of the stuff built in the Bitcoin industry is a bit tacky and a bit shitty. This is not, and it's beautiful. They've spent a lot of time on this, and it shows. If you haven't already checked them out, go to foundationdevices.com, and if you are going to buy one of these, then use the code ungovernable. It will get you 3 months of IVPN usage for free, and it lets them know that I'm shilling them. If you have any questions for the technical side of things, you can reach out to Q&A or anyone on the Foundation team. Or if you want to reach out to me and ask me why it's my favourite hardware, why I use it, and why I get my family to use it, then you can do. Next up is RoninDojo. RoninDojo, They've been on the show many, many times. They are part of the Samurai stack, and it's the best node in the world. I don't know how else to put it than it is the best node in the world. It's got the best team, it's fully open source, it is really, really beautiful. It is properly made. It is milled out of one piece of aluminium and it's anodized. I got this wrong actually the other day. I was saying, oh, the paintwork on it's amazing. It's not paintwork, it's anodized. It's really fucking nice. It's weighty. This is a team that are dedicated to keeping you secure and private. I'm going to be having Zelko back on the show very soon, and I've been using my new Tanto 2. I am extremely happy with it. It is very, very stable. If you would like one, then go to RoninDojo.com. You can use the code ungovernable. You'll get some money off. I will get some sats to help support the show, and everyone's a winner. If you have any questions about this, you can reach out to me. You can also check out the many episodes that I've done with Zelko and the rest of the team. And finally, a shout out to sx6.store. They are making incredibly affordable stainless steel backup plates. This is a product that everyone should be using, in my opinion. You need to have a backup that is fireproof and floodproof. Do not be writing your seed words on a bit of paper that can get burnt or lost or flooded or any of the other shit that can happen. Make sure you take this stuff seriously. This is very, very important, and for £16.99 it is very affordable. sx6.store, and again, use the code ungovernable. Let them know I sent you. Thanks for listening to the ads and enjoy the show. There he is. How are you, mate?
Good morning. I'm doing well. Got a coffee.
Very nice.
Got it all there.
Proper man's mug as well. It looks like a tin mug.
Yeah.
Is that what it is?
I've no idea how to pronounce this, but it's like email. What's it?
Enamel?
Is that what you call it in English?
It's like
Okay.
painted over
Yeah,
metal.
yeah. You say enamel. Okay. Because in German it's Emaille.
Emaille.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm sure you lot invented it anyway.
There we go.
It's very nice. It's got your logo on there as well at the bottom, has it?
Well, they fucked that up actually. Well, it's
okay.
a logo at the top, and then underneath it's just the website vulcan21.com. But they fucked up the font, so this is why it's my mug and it's no one else's mug.
You just can't trust them, can you? You can't get the work.
Hell no.
So busy month. Just looking through the show notes you put together. Listeners might realise by now there's no northerner chirping in with nonsense at the moment. So you probably guess Q&A has done a runner. He's had enough.
He's had enough. Yeah, I did a crash course with him on NFT design and Discord channel management and stuff. So he's bogged down, right?
Oh, really? I didn't know the reason. I thought he just had enough of us.
Oh,
in
shit.
general.
I wasn't supposed to say, eh?
Oh, okay.
Goes around, comes around, eh?
Be a nice calming episode, no northern influence, and we can just get on and be professional. So I've looked through your list, loads of stuff going on. Before we dive into it properly, I wanted to just talk a little bit about Amsterdam, because I've just come back from there. I was really sad not to see you out there. I was kind of hoping you might have been, but there were some really great connections I made out there, and anyone who I met will know. But it was really fucking cool to meet some people in the flesh. It's been way too long for me.
So did you do like the full experience of just like going to the talks and stuff, or were you just hanging out with the people? Were you at the venue at all?
No, I didn't do one talk. Saw a couple of mates out there, met lots of new people. I say new people, people that like I hadn't met in the flesh, you know, people that you go back and forth with online a bit, and a lot of the Node Runners crew and some other people. So I dipped in. Q&A kindly got me a ticket. So I did dip in and went to the foundation stand and had a chat with them. But I've said this on the last couple of pods, so I'm probably repeating myself a bit, but it just felt a bit shit. the vibe of meeting people was really cool. Like going to the bars and cafes and just chatting to people was really nice, and like we had some really good conversations. But I don't know, I didn't feel like I wanted to be in the conference, even though I had the ticket, and I feel a bit wasteful for not really making the most of it. But yeah, just it was a bit corporate-y, with the exception of the foundation team being there. The rest of it was like crypto kitty something. There was, like lawyers and like, I don't know. I can't even remember everyone that was there, but there was no one other than Foundation and Eric Kaysen, actually. He was selling his book, and I like him. But like outside of that, I was like, this doesn't feel like Bitcoin to me. This is not for me. I had a quick look around the art gallery. I saw Rebel Money. He's a great guy, and I like some of his art, so I had a chat with him. But yeah, just, I don't know. I wasn't that bothered. Probably if I did it again, I wouldn't get a ticket. I'd probably just park up at one of the bars and spend my time there.
That's the thing, isn't it? I mean, it's always like in the evenings, just hanging around the different bars, going out for a meal and all that kind of stuff. It's just so much more valuable. I mean, especially, if you know most of the products and stuff by now, you're not actually going there to find some new gadget or something, some new service. It's all about the people.
It was. But yeah, it was a shame not to see you, mate. I was hoping, because you're close enough to the place, I thought, he'll make the effort, but no.
Yeah, I was planning on...
Left me standing.
Yeah, there we go. Yeah, and we'd been in contact to have a small booth there. Yeah, it was all really last minute from our side as well, so then it didn't work out, but we managed to send one of our guys from the community over there who did an amazing job. Just had like a little table in the corner, did some Seed Hammer demos there. Seed Signer himself was also in attendance.
Oh, no, I missed that. I fucking...
You did?
I got a message from him after I'd already arrived back home.
Oh, no.
I can't remember the message now, but basically, were you out there? And I was like, oh, fuck off. Don't tell me you were there. He was like, yeah, I was there. I was like, oh, no. It was missed a golden opportunity. I'd have loved to have met him in person. So I fucked up. That was my mistake. But I didn't see, because I only went into the tent. Maybe they were in a different tent, but I didn't see Seed Hammer. I didn't see Seed Signer. So I don't know whether they were in a different area to where Foundation were, but I don't know.
Yeah, I'm not quite sure exactly. It was in one of the exhibitors' halls, like at the side, like where the coffee stand was.
Yeah, that's where I was, near the coffee.
Yeah. Funnily enough, I think they had like one of these, like a game going on where you had to find like 12 seed words or something scattered around the whole venue. And they'd planned all the locations of where these seed words would be hidden, and like they planned that ahead of time. And then, like last minute, we got this spot where the table was placed, and the guy from the community who was running the stand, he didn't know that he was actually parked right on top of one of these seed words. So he was like always like standing at the stand, and there were like guys coming along and just like rummaging through his stuff and trying to look for the seed word. And he was like, "What the fuck is going on?" But that drew quite a bit of attention. That's quite good.
So did anyone find all of them?
I presume, but I'm not quite sure.
Next time, mate. Next time. Hopefully you can get out there, and Seed Signer and Seed Hammer and everyone else. It'd be good to catch up in the flesh.
Absolutely. Yeah, we'll see. I mean, there are quite a few events coming up next year. So maybe, I don't know if you've thought about Bitcoin Atlantis in March.
Where's that? I don't know where Atlantis is. Don't think anyone does.
It's like a fucking island in the middle of the Atlantic.
We'll see. Struggle to get out to these things. Amsterdam's so easy for me.
Yeah.
It's so easy. It's like 50 minutes.
50 minutes?
50-minute flight.
Yeah, across the channel and then you're there, right? Yeah.
Hop on a flight, easy peasy, quick taxi or train. Takes no time at all. The only thing that takes the time is the airport security. On the flight back, pretty much everyone else that I was with before they flew, they were all just having a like cheeky smoke before they jump on the flight. I was like, that's not for me. I won't be smoking because I'm going to get all paranoid, and then I'm going to go through airport security and they're going to fuck with me like they always do. And I'm so pleased that I didn't, because I get to airport security flying back. I have 2 bags, just rucksack and then just like a carry-on little like mini bag, like a mini suitcase. I've got like all my audio recording equipment, did a couple of pods out there, and then just like clothes and stuff. put it through the scanners. I got checked and patted down and through the thing, standard like they do to me every fucking time. And then, can you come over to this side, sir? And then they asked me about every single fucking item in my bag.
What?
Not an exaggeration. Every single fucking item. I'm there and they're like, can you explain what this is, please, sir? I'm like, that is a microphone.
God.
We're just going to do a swab test on it. I'm like,
Oh.
okay, right. They come back. Okay, right. What is this, please, sir? That is a bag of wires. We're going to do a swab test on it. What is this, please, sir? And they went through literally down to, what is this, please, sir? I'm like, that is a bag of my dirty underwear. Like, what do you fucking, can you not tell? Can you not see? I'd brought back a few passports, the Foundation Devices passports, not my actual flying passport.
Yeah.
They were like still boxed and stuff. And I was like, I don't want to have to explain what this is. This is not what I want to be doing. And so they asked me what that is. And I was like, that is a password manager and it's unopened. And luckily they were just like, okay. And they didn't ask me any more questions about it. So I was like, thank God for that. But can you imagine that? It's like, what's that? It's like, what's this Bitcoin device? And it's like, keep you cunts away from my sats.
But that's actually quite a good answer. Password manager.
Because it's not a lie.
Exactly.
That's the thing. They can never say you lied. It's like they just haven't understood exactly what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Yeah, anyway, I'm glad I didn't smoke because I'd be fucking pranging out otherwise.
Oh, boy. Oh, man, but you got home safely. That's good.
Got home eventually.
I've been hearing out of the woodwork. There might be something coming up. Is that true? For airport security dressing.
Yes, is true. The plan is that on the 5th of November, Ungovernable Misfits is not only going to have our art, but we're also going to have our full list of clothing all online as well. We're only going to be accepting Bitcoin for it, obviously. But yeah, we've spent a long time getting this prepared. This is properly screen printed with really high quality garments, and we put a lot of time into the design, a lot of time into the shipping and packaging and doing everything the right way. So it's taken 2 years because we took the original load of clothing off because I just wasn't happy enough. You know what it's like if you put a product out, when you get the feedback where it's like, oh, I really love this, like, you know, you with your seed plates, if someone says, I really love this, you know, thank you, the quality's really high, it's really nice, makes you feel good. None of these businesses, or our smaller businesses, aren't like our full-time, you can't live off it. It's more of a passion project. So when you get those, it's great. And you're like, yes, this is why it's worth it. But when you get one that's like, my package didn't get delivered, or I've put it through the wash and it's shrunk, or I put it through the wash and there's a crack in the design, or it's the wrong size, or whatever it is, like something like that. And you're just like, oh, fuck. Like, it really, really upset me when that happened, to the point where I was like, I just can't do this. If it's not the best, then it gets pulled. So we had loads of orders waiting, and I was just like, I'm sorry, we can't do this. For the last couple of years, I've had people reaching out saying, like, when are you going to do them again? And I was like, I'm not until I'm ready. So anyway, we are now ready. 5th of November, we should be live.
Nice.
Quality over quantity.
Hell yeah. So 5th of November.
Remember the 5th of November.
Yeah. Shit, how did I miss that? Nice.
What about you, mate? Anything happening?
All good. Pretty busy, but a lot that's been in the works for a while coming up now that's kind of bearing fruit, which is nice. So Seed Hammer delivery. So for all the EU plebs out there who are waiting on Seed Hammer, they've been shipped now, which is great.
Nice.
Took a quite while to get through customs, but we've sorted all of that out.
It did.
Yeah. So yeah, they're all there. We've got the 3mm plates. So these are the backup plates for the Seed Hammer that were 2mm up till now. Stainless steel, and now we've upgraded them to 3mm. So this is a pretty hardcore backup solution. Yeah, so producing a few videos for tutorials for that, which is definitely nice. And the availability for the seed signer is wonderful. I mean, at the moment, like the backlog has been worked down, so pretty much anyone who wants to build a DIY seed signer can do that now for a pretty low
Nice.
cost, which is wonderful for the seed signer community. It's
What sort of cost are we talking now?
well, it varies a bit on the model and from shop to shop, but usually you can get them for around 15 to 20 quid, something like that, like a board.
Okay.
And then with all the accessories and so on, you'll probably be up to like 50, 60 quid or something.
Okay.
Depending obviously on if you can print the case yourself or you have to buy one of those and all that kind of stuff. And yeah, so the great thing is that we've been able to lower prices there. So that's definitely nice. So that everything gets a bit more accessible and we can get back to like the actual ethos of what the seed signer used to be, like a cheap solution. So now you can definitely pick them up already for like 74 euros. It's like the cheapest option in our shop. So that's quite nice. And we'll be having, probably as from next week, the new aluminium case versions.
Oh, I've seen these. They're really
Yes.
nice.
Man, I've been waiting for this for ages. I've been playing with the idea of doing one myself, but just the logistics and time consume would have been just so high. And now there's Monero Time on Twitter, who has designed and manufactured these CNC milled aluminium seed signer cases himself, and they are sweet. They're like in different colors as well, so you can get them in orange and black.
Are they like anodized or something?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I've seen a few pictures. It looks like a really finished product now.
Absolutely.
That doesn't look like a DIY thing. That looks like if you went and bought that in any shop, you'd be like, "Oh, fuck, this is nice."
Yeah. So obviously these will be at a higher price point, but they're still pretty reasonably priced. So you'll get like a whole pre-built device with one of these cases for like 150 euros.
Okay, well, still not crazy. That's pretty decent.
okay.
That's sort of equivalent to most other hardware that you'd buy from a manufacturer.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, I haven't had one in my hands yet. Still waiting on the delivery, but yeah, as I mentioned, probably next week. So
Okay.
be sweet.
Nice.
Yeah. So we've got a list, quite a few software updates, and a bit of uncomfortable news at the end.
What we got then, mate?
Yeah. So first of all, got Bitcoin Core 25.1. There've been like a bunch of bug fixes, performance improvements, like nothing absolutely crazy, but upgraded translations and so on too. So nice to see they're putting out new releases. Then Blue Wallet v6.4.9, also a bunch of bug fixes and airdrop cosigner support. So this is pretty sweet.
Airdrop is in Apple AirDrop, do you mean?
Exactly. And I mean,
Okay.
there's been a whole bunch of different solutions of passing information between devices and so on. And obviously between Apple devices, airdrop is an extremely seamless experience.
Sometimes.
Yeah.
It's extremely seamless some of the time. About half the time for me.
Really?
Yeah, I don't know what it is. Well, I fucking break everything, but like often it just won't work.
Shit.
But that is probably just me. I mean, most people say exactly what you said, which is seamless.
Yeah, I mean, in most cases, that's been my experience. I mean, the thing is that obviously here, you're kind of relying on the Apple ecosystem here. But if you're using an Apple anyway, or an iPhone, like it's a closed box anyway. So yeah, this isn't too much of a leap. I mean, the thing is that the actual functionality here is not huge. So the only functionality that Blue Wallet has now implemented is that if you set up a multisig wallet, you can send the XPub or the descriptor of that multisig wallet to different iPhones or different Apple devices so that they can then be a cosigner. So it's just transferring the XPubs between the devices. So this is not a huge improvement, and it's not like revolutionary in what it can actually do, but it's the first time that I've seen airdrop being used as the communication route.
It's just a different way to pass information.
Exactly.
Okay.
Then we've got LND v0.17.0, also bug fixes, and Music 2 based Taproot channels. So obviously since the Taproot upgrade a couple of years ago, it's been a while for Music 2 to catch on. So this is like the multi-sig version with Taproot, with the big benefit that you don't see that it's a multi-sig transaction on chain.
Massive.
Exactly. For privacy, but also for fee spending. And that's the way we like it, because then you actually have an incentive to use this and be private kind of by default. That's quite nice. So obviously LND, this would be Taproot Lightning channels. So these are 2 of 2 Lightning channels, but now with Taproot addresses and based on Music 2. Together with that, we've then also got RTL, Ride the Lightning, which now also supports these Taproot music channels.
Very cool. We might already have it on the list, but I can't see it. Lightning bug. I haven't really been paying attention to Lightning for a while. I use it occasionally for a few things like the podcast, but outside of that, very rarely. So I just don't really pay attention, but I see a lot of squawking on Twitter and people talking about it. Have you got any thoughts?
I have no idea.
Okay.
Well,
supposedly,
this is recently?
Yeah, I mean, supposedly some sort of potentially critical bug, an attack. Like I say, I haven't really looked into it. I've just seen a lot of people squawking about it, and I don't know. Like, I use it for certain use cases where it just makes sense. So I'm not someone who's like going to ever bash on it, because genuinely for the podcast, it's useful. People send me in sats and the streaming works, and it's not perfect. And most people use custodial and blah, blah, blah. I get it, but it is genuinely helping the show. So I'm like, okay, that's an actual use case for me. When I was in Amsterdam, I bought a couple of duck burgers with it. And I was like, that works. You know what I mean? They're very tasty. So that worked, and a couple of coffees and stuff, and, you know, that worked. So that's kind of how I look at it. I'm like, I don't really use it outside of those 2 reasons, but a lot of people that I do respect seem to have a very negative view on it, and have done for forever. So I wondered, I mean, you're much more into the Lightning side and much more technically capable than I am. Do you have any thoughts on it?
Well, I just had a look. I mean, there's an article on Bitcoin Magazine, Lightning replacement cycling attacks. So it's got something to do with HTLCs and on the route, but I've not seen anything about this yet. I've been off Twitter this week, so
probably for the best.
Exactly. I have to look into this a bit more.
Okay.
So there's not much I can say to it. I mean, in general, it is pretty crazy, like how much some individuals and also companies have parked in Lightning, and from the developers, it's still been, like, from the different implementations as well. They always have the caveat in there that it's kind of still in beta, and that it's all still experimental. On the other hand, there are many people who kind of hail Lightning as the savior for scaling issues on Bitcoin. So that definitely, the risk was always there that something like this could come up. I mean, I obviously don't know if this is legit or not. How much would have to be changed to mitigate this issue? I can't say at all at the moment. So I'd have to look into this, and would have to discuss that next time again. But it looks like a bigger issue than just someone having a bad day.
Yeah, it seems like it's not just someone having a bit of a squawk. It's like, okay, no, this is probably relatively serious. But then, like, I've always looked at Lightning like that. I've never been comfortable putting large amounts of funds in there, whether I'm running my own node or whatever I'm doing. Even if I'm doing things the right way, I'm opening a channel from a Postmix UTXO, I'm doing all the things that I should be doing. And there's probably a lot of it comes down to understanding. But I've never felt like as comfortable as I do on chain. And I always would resort to on chain if possible. And there are times where it's like I'm saying, like buying a duck burger at a stand or doing the coffee or someone sending me 1,000 sats or things like that, it's like, okay, this makes sense. But outside of that, I don't really use it.
Mm-hmm.
And I think a lot of that comes down to when I'm doing a Bitcoin purchase, they're generally over 50 quid. I'm not doing loads of little microtransactions most of the time. And that's not to say it's not useful, because it is, but it's just not something I really get involved in.
Yeah. And I mean, then for going out to meetups or like conferences and all that kind of stuff, I mean, there for that is great, but you usually don't have huge amounts on there. But I think this bug like this could be an issue, obviously, for the like LSPs, like Lightning Service Providers, to have massive channels and hundreds of them.
Yeah.
Obviously, this is also just speculation at the moment. Yeah.
We can dig in next month. Sorry to put you on the spot.
No,
it's
good.
just
Good.
yeah.
So next on the list is SamouraiWallet, v0.99.98i. But this is a big one, and this is a nice one. So I thought that when they'd bring this one out, this would be the eventual long sought after jump to the one.
No, never.
No. So yeah, they've got PSBT support, and this is fucking amazing. I love this. So PSBT support, so that you can actually use your old phone with your SamouraiWallet on it as a offline air gap signer.
Yes.
And that is nice. So if you have your coins parked there and you don't want to be remixing, so you just go offline, and then you can set up a coordinator software on a different phone or on your desktop, like a Sparrow. And also I should have put this before in the list.
Sentinel.
The new Sentinel, exactly. And use that to create your PSBT and set up your transaction, and then use your offline phone as a signing device. So just the way you'd use a seed signer, for instance. You can scan the QR codes, pass it backwards and forwards, and sign that way. So you can actually keep your funds offline long term on an old phone, because that was always kind of the option that people say, yeah, sure, you can just take your phone offline and then it just sits there. But if you want to spend at some point, you have to reconnect it or import your seed words into some other device again.
Talk me through the process. Would it be you'd have a hardware device, you could have something like a passport, and then have something like Sentinel running as well, and you'd pass a PSBT? Can you do it with QR?
Yeah.
You'd use Sentinel to then sign it, and then you'd broadcast from something else. If it's offline, you can't broadcast from there.
No, you'd have one phone which is connected, and you'll have Sentinel on that phone. And then you'll have a second phone that's offline with your SamouraiWallet. Your online phone only has your XPub, so you can, and it's connected.
And that's
to
the one with Sentinel.
That's the one with Sentinel, and that's where you create the transaction, you put in the receive address and the fees and all that kind of stuff. And then you'd pass the PSBT over to your offline phone via QR code to your SamouraiWallet, and then sign the transaction there with your keys, and then pass it back to the online phone, back to Sentinel, and then broadcast.
I get you. Okay. Is that something that you can use only specifically with Samurai to Sentinel, or could you use a seed signer or a passport or something else with Sentinel as well?
Yes, I presume so, as I wouldn't, because at the end of the day, that's the great thing.
It's a standardized thing.
PSBT, exactly. That's a standard that is pretty much universal by now. A couple of years ago, there were still some issues with some people not using it, but by now you could use SamouraiWallet with Sparrow, Spectre, Nunchuck, Blue Wallet, Keeper, and now also Envoy and Sentinel. And the other way around too, you could also use the seed signer or the passport or cold card together with Sentinel.
I like that.
Yeah.
It's quite clean and simple. Did you also see the nice artwork, the logo for Sentinel?
I saw the new logo with the cold and hot themed. That's pretty nice.
Do you know who designed that?
No, I don't.
Senor Crown.
There we go.
Yeah. So
Ah,
shout out to you, mate. It's
hell
fucking
yeah.
beautiful. Really nice work.
Absolutely. Yeah. So, I mean, obviously, my advice in these kind of situations has always been to kind of mix and match the coordinator with the wallet software you're using. So, if
Mhm.
you're using the Samurai wallet, then I'd advise to use something else other than the Sentinel. The same goes for something like Passport and Envoy, or also with Trezor, their Trezor suite. I mean, at the end of the day, it's just this one step of caution there to kind of not have both software built by the same project or
Yeah.
company. You could use your Passport with Sentinel and your Samurai wallet with Envoy, just to remove that one risk.
Yeah, a bit like with multi-sig, you're going to want to use different devices in your multi-sig rather than all the same because it just splits the risk a bit.
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, obviously, for like support stuff, it's not great because it will be more seamless if you use the two together because they're designed for that. And if you have an issue, then you'll have to speak to two different projects or companies to get things resolved because obviously they can't cover for all the other options that you might be using. But from a security standpoint, I'd advise that.
And you can do it for fuck all now. I mean, if you reflash a cheap Pixel 3a or something like that and you run Sentinel on it, I don't know what they go for now, but probably what, $50 or less?
Yeah. Yeah.
Something like that. They're not a lot of money and you can flash it and run this thing. I mean, it's makes it so much more accessible to more people and
Yeah.
it's pretty fucking cool.
Absolutely. So yeah, obviously you could, if you don't want to use Whirlpool at all, just buy a phone and never connect it to the internet. Just start it up and keep it cold the entire time. Obviously, what I'm still hoping for that at some point we'll also get like Mix to Xpub.
Don't you have that in Sparrow?
Yes, you have that in Sparrow. So if you want to do it that route, you could. So you could set up a hot wallet on Sparrow
Yeah.
and jump through Whirlpool there, and then mix to your cold storage offline Samurai wallet, like a second one directly out of Whirlpool. Quite a nice setup. Obviously, it would be cool to have that in Samurai directly.
Yeah.
Hoping that that's just a matter of time.
I'm sure it is. And I think you can choose, certainly with Sparrow, I think you can choose like a certain amount of mixes or something like that. So you might say, right, after I've had 10 remixes, then go to cold. I'm pretty sure you can do that, which just takes a huge amount of extra legwork and hassle and stress out of it, which is pretty fucking cool.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it's like a minimum. So you say like a minimum of 10 or something, and then it
Right.
kind of randomizes it so that it's not all identical.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Very nice.
Then they've also got batch spend import. So I presume this is I haven't actually tried it out yet, but I presume you can import a file that you've created outside of the wallet for spends. So if you have if you have a project or a company or whatever, and you have larger payments or a whole bunch of different payments that you want to make, and you don't want to like import or like type it into your Samurai wallet directly manually, you could import a file and then do these batch spends, which is convenient for some people who need to do this. And then also option to mark transaction change as do not spend immediately after broadcast. So when you do a transaction, you'll get a change back, and then if you want to mark this as do not spend because it will kind of link that transaction to the next one, you'd have to navigate and find that UTXO again and mark it as spend manually. And here now, after every transaction, you'll get a notice with the option to mark it straight away.
Okay, because they used to do it with just the doxic change. It would pop up immediately, like mark as unspendable or whatever. But as you're saying now, from post mix as well, whatever is the change there would pop up and say do not spend.
Exactly.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Then also an option to reattempt broadcast. So anyone who's done quite a few transactions from postmix has probably like bumped into the obstacle of having a failed transaction broadcast, and here you have a reattempt broadcast option, so you don't have to go through the whole setup again to transact again. Yeah,
Nice.
So these are smaller improvements. But the big one, obviously, here being PSBT support.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, big respect for that gang, and that's a big move. So I appreciate that.
Yeah, I don't know how much I can say or not say, so I'll tread carefully. But person or persons who were behind Sentinel, I got to meet, and them were really fucking cool and super smart, and yeah, fills me with even more confidence.
100%.
Was that vague enough?
Yeah.
Just like I always try, like especially with those boys, it's like fucking hell, just don't want to even get close to saying anything that could even be perceived as doxing. So, but yeah, big respect.
Yeah. Right. So Zeus v 0.8.0 beta. They've now got the embedded LND node, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, what's this? Talk me through it because it makes no sense to me. How the fuck have you got one in a phone?
To be honest, I haven't looked into exactly how they do it technically, but I presume it's similar to like the Phoenix approach here. So yeah, we'll see how like the performance goes of like device running hot and so on. But I'm pretty confident in that team, and they've like that project's grown a lot. Nice to see. We'll see what the performance actually is, and obviously this is still beta, so
Yeah.
in a while we'll probably get the full release.
Have you run it yet, or
No, I haven't updated yet.
No.
No, it's only been a couple of days, I think. It hasn't been too long.
I'd like to give it a go because I've been using Phoenix, which I've been pretty impressed by. It's pretty good. And it's been a while since I've spoken to Evan, but I really like him for one, and he's a smart fucker.
Yeah.
I'd like to give it a go.
Yeah, it's only been 4 days now, so I haven't heard much feedback from others yet. We'll see how that shakes out. Yeah, and they've also got this Olympus like channel service, like ZeroConf channel service. So that's like kind of their product as a Lightning service provider, so that they can monetize the project a bit and stuff. Not exactly how that works exactly, but they're going a similar route here with quite a few other Lightning wallets are doing too, to provide channels and liquidity to their users directly. And then they've also got Zeus Pay, self-custodial Lightning address. So this is kind of the way to create it kind of looks like an email address that is linked to your node, so that people can pay you using that static code, that static address, which is quite nice. And then also simple Taproot channels. So this is kind of a theme across most of the Lightning related projects that they've kind of pushing towards Taproot now more and more. And the last point on the list there was the contact book as well. So you can actually save these Lightning address contacts so that you can repay people without them having to send you some kind of invoice.
Okay.
Next is Peach Bitcoin. I haven't got the version number here, but we spoke about them, I think, last time, that they open sourced their code, which was definitely was on their roadmap for a long time. Exactly. I was about to say it's a source viewable, right? Source viewable.
Urban Hacker's going to get really annoyed by that. Yeah, he gave me and everyone a schooling. He's not happy, not a happy boy, and I would say I'm kind of with him. Yeah.
I mean, I don't know what their stance is, if this was just like a first step and they want to go the whole way, or if that was it for them. Q maybe could have said more to that, because I think he had been in contact with them more. But yeah. Anyway, now they've updated to allow you to connect your own node. So this is quite cool, so that you can actually verify the trade transactions yourself and don't have to rely on their node to show you the status of your transaction.
Very nice.
And last on the list is RoboSat v 0.5.3 alpha, and they've introduced face-to-face trades. So you can now actually meet up with someone if you find a trading partner in your local area. You can meet up directly and do a cash trade. Yeah, this has been an option on BISC for ages.
Yeah.
On BISC, the liquidity and the amount of people doing this was very low, and obviously you have to be lucky to have someone in your direct vicinity. But yeah, I think Peach has quite a RoboSat, has quite a large user base by now, so it makes sense to implement this. And yeah, you could even have a few people that you kind of know to a certain extent and do this via RoboSats, which will give you a bit more security than just sending them a Telegram message and meeting up.
It's good to be able to have these cash trades, because I think a lot of people used to use like local Bitcoin and stuff, and then they started KYCing people, and a lot of people, like, especially with this show, I bang on all the time about just don't go to a fucking exchange, make sure you buy KYC free. And quite often people are like, yeah, but how? Especially people who are a bit newer, they're like, how? And it's not the most, and I'm like, just go and buy in cash. It's like, well, I don't know anyone who's got Bitcoin. You know, like when you've been around for a while, there's always someone earning in it who needs to pay some bills in fiat and they want to sell, or you need to sell, so you know someone who wants to buy, and it kind of just works itself out. But when you're new, not so easy. Although it's like nice to have options like Bisq, for the most part, the liquidity is there for people who are paying from their bank account, but then you are doxing yourself to some degree. So cash is always going to be the best. So more options like this are definitely promising.
Absolutely. And definitely like be aware that there is less of a like privacy risk directly, because you're not giving up your data directly, but there is like a certain amount of physical risk if you're standing there. So you might want to think about where and when to meet. Public spaces are definitely recommended here. Yeah, just be careful out there. But I've spoken to a lot of people who've done face-to-face transactions or like trades, and I've done some personally myself, and it's always been absolutely fine.
Yeah, it's just being cautious, like with anything, isn't it?
Exactly.
I guess the like ideal way is for people to be going to meetups and things like that, and you're around other people. If you're in a relatively public space that you have some friends and people you know close by, if it all kicks off, at least you've got some protection. I think that's probably the best thing. And also, like, don't do unreasonably large amounts, and that could be any amount. It's a personal thing, isn't it? Like, don't do unreasonably large amounts, whatever that is to you, in one go to start with, until you've got a little bit of comfort with someone or the surroundings. It would be terrible if that happens and someone loses their life savings. So just be a bit cautious.
And I mean, the combination is great as well. Like if you're going to meetups anyway, you can put up an offer on RoboSats and tag that location as the meeting point. Everyone else who's going to the same meetup, they can see it on RoboSats, and you don't have to just like post a trade offer into the Telegram group of the meetup. So this is, doing it that way is quite nice, like kind of message board for that.
Yeah, I like that.
All right, so that's the end of the list of software updates, but we've got two more news items.
Just to finish on that before we get onto the news items, the other option, because it's a lot of hassle, isn't it, doing all this stuff. What you can do is just not bother. Just give all your details over to like Kraken or someone like that, because at the end of the day, I think that all these privacy guys, everyone who shouts on Twitter, they're just making a scene and just shouting because they're bored. And at the end of the day, it'd be fine and no one's really after you and your data's safe. So just don't worry about it. Just go and put your details in and buy some Bitcoin on an exchange.
Send the IRS your data or whatever local jurisdiction
it'd be fine.
You're in.
Don't worry, it's all overblown.
Exactly. Yeah, you won't be disappointed when it all comes out. So Kraken let all of their users know that they were ordered by the court to hand over all information, transaction information, personal details on all users that exceeded a limit of $20,000 in any year between 2016 and 2020.
I can't believe it.
Yeah.
I'm shocked.
Yeah. So, as to be expected, obviously, with the court case has been going for a while, apparently, and they were fighting it to their credit, not like Coinbase, who just basically kind of has been pushing over everything for forever. Yeah. But there's been a court ruling now, and they have to do so. So, obviously, their hands are tied. No shame against Kraken directly for this, but it's just been clear. I mean, it's
inevitable.
obvious. Yeah, they have to play by the books. They're a public company, and so yeah, if they get one of these orders, they got to do it. So yeah, obviously this is tough because it's such a while back. So even if you were maybe just getting into Bitcoin at the time and didn't know better, and you're using it in 2016, 2017 through that bull run or whatever, your data will be passed on. If you exceeded 20,000 in transactions, I don't know if it is just buy or also sell, or the combination of both.
Probably both. And at the end of the day, if you're sat there and going, oh, thank God I didn't use Kraken, I used XYZ other service, don't sit there smugly, because it's only a matter of time. Like, I'm not saying that in a smug way, like, oh, I've never done it. I've done it. And I have given my details at the beginning to several companies, and I fucked up. And like, I'll regret it forever, but I did it. And loads of other people are in this same situation. And it's going to happen to every single one of them. The amounts are just going to get smaller because the Bitcoin price is going to keep running. They'll just keep going back. And whatever is too small fry now, if they're looking at you going, it's only $5,000, we won't bother with them, we'll leave them. You won't be off a list. You'll just be there waiting. And then when that $5,000 is suddenly worth 50 or 100, whatever time down the line, you'll get a knock on your door or you'll get a letter. We believe that you own XYZ. We think that you owe us this amount. And that's what's going to happen. It's just inevitable. So the advice would be for anyone who can is probably sell back to the exchange and buy back in no KYC and try and protect yourself that way. Obviously, use the tools that are available. Use something like SamouraiWallet, use Whirlpool. But the record's always going to be there. You just have to give yourself some deniability. And in the future, don't be lazy. Just take the steps that you have to take and use RoboSats or Peach or cash trades or with other Bitcoiners, whatever you have to do, because these people will come for your money. They need to drop bombs. Someone's got to pay for it.
Yeah. And at the end of the day, I mean, it's all about just not being on a list or being on as few lists as possible. Here, obviously, Kraken passing it on to the IRS. This is mainly for tax reasons. And as many people in our positions and podcasts say, pay your taxes. That is true. So this isn't an issue with that directly. But it just goes to show that whoever you give your data to, this can be extracted years into the future, and you have zero control over that. So the more you can protect yourself and be in a position where you can selectively reveal your information, that's the ideal setup, and that's where you want to be.
The counter argument to this is always people saying like, yeah, well, it's more difficult and more expensive to buy no KYC. So I'm going to get more Bitcoin if I go to one of these exchanges. So that's better. And look, I'm not selling anyway, and I'm going to out hodl the IRS or whatever they say. And the percentage is only X that I'd have to pay them, and I'm going to make so much money. So what if I have to sell? And the answer to that is, for now, paying 5% more for no KYC seems expensive. Does it if they suddenly start taxing you at 50%? Does it if they come and knock on your door and want all of it because you're now a criminal? It's pretty obvious which way this is going to go. It might take 5 years, 10 years, 20 years, 50 years, who knows? But at some point, those numbers are going to change, those rules are going to change, those laws are going to change, and they're going to change not in your benefit, but in the benefit of the looters who want to take your value. Make the decisions now and try and avoid the problems down the line.
Amen.
Rant over.
Yeah, so the second lot of bad news, I don't know, I was definitely in this boat myself. I got an email from Blockstream saying that there's an urgent update that's required for my Jade, and I should click this link to upgrade and connect my Jade wallet to the computer. Blockstream was pretty quick to announce this on Twitter as well, that there have been like a phishing attack to presumably all of their users, or not all of their users, but all of their customers who had bought via their shop. So given up an email address. I have not seen any information since then. This was on the 21st of October, I think. So like a week back. Since then, I haven't seen any details of exactly how this happened, but somehow the list of email addresses was hacked. I don't know if there was any additional information like shipping addresses and names and so on that were leaked. I don't know. I can't say at the moment, but definitely the email addresses. So just hope that no one actually clicked that link and connected their Jade. If you haven't checked your emails for the past couple of weeks and you do so now, keep a lookout for that. And just in general, no hardware wallet manufacturer or software project in this space will write an email to you saying that you should click a link or enter your seed words or any of that kind of stuff. Always see that as highly suspicious, and investigate on Twitter to see if there's any public announcement there, because Blockstream wouldn't just send out emails to their users without doing a public announcement on their website or on Twitter first. So definitely check that beforehand. Nothing in general, there's a quite good rule. That's why there's been quite a lot of panic with lightning bugs, because that's all hot, right? That has to be updated quickly.
Yeah.
With offline cold storage hardware devices, there is never a rush.
No.
The stuff isn't connected. So the only issue, even if there is a critical bug on one of your hardware devices that's air-gapped, it would only be an issue if you actually connect it to an internet-connected device. So there's never a rush.
Yep. Good advice.
Yeah. So that was ending on a good note, eh?
Having a whinge, but it's important stuff. It really is. Like you do have to drone on about it, and we have to remember there are new. I fucking wish someone was droning on when I first got involved. I really, really do. The closest I had to someone droning on was Odell. Made me start to think a bit more about, oh yeah, that's maybe pretty dumb actually. And then just consistently hearing him drone on, I was like, no, now I have to take this seriously. And then once you dive down into that rabbit hole, you're like, oh wow, okay, now I've really made some mistakes before. But yeah, so that's why you have to just keep going on about it.
100%.
Any other news, mate?
No. Otherwise, all's good. Or I mean, the year's coming to a close, eh?
Yeah. Well, we kept this one tight. This is because we don't have Q&A fucking whinging on.
Yeah. No.
Have you missed him?
Big time.
Really? Yeah. I barely got to see him out there in Amsterdam. Got to see him a little bit, but he was a busy boy out there.
With the stand, right? You've always got tons to do. I mean, it's fun doing one of those stands, right? Because you've got people to chat with everywhere. I mean, Riga this year wasn't that busy, but I think Amsterdam was pretty full. Was it full?
Yeah, it was busy.
Yeah?
I don't know about full. I don't know what the capacity was, but it was busy. I mean, I don't know how many people were there, and it was difficult to tell a little bit because it was raining most of the time. So where people would be milling around outside, people were sort of taking cover in different places. But I mean, I'm just completely guessing at numbers here, but it felt like there was at least 1,000 people there or more. Okay. Like it felt like a lot of people. So yeah. I mean, if you're on a stand, you're busy.
Yeah.
All right, mate. Good to chat to you. I look forward to next month. I will have a quick chat with you off air as well about a few bits.
Ooh, yeah. We should definitely get one in at the end of November.
Yeah,
before Christmas. That'll be good with the three of us. But yeah, that was fun.
I'll speak to you soon. Thanks for listening. I really hope you enjoyed that. I hope it was useful. And if you have any questions for the next episode, you can boost me on Fountain, or you can just DM me. You can ask me some questions, and if they're technical ones, I'll probably pass them on to Q&A and Antomous. That is if Q&A fucking turns up next month. So, first of all, I'd like to ask you to give him some shit on Twitter and Nostr and anywhere else you can. Just really fucking annoy him for missing this, please. And secondly, I'd like to ask anyone who hasn't already to check out ungovernablemisfits.com. We have new articles on there. Ben Gunn has written a couple of excellent articles, and we've also got the clothing. If you haven't checked it out already, I suggest you go to ungovernablemisfits.com, go to the clothing tab. For everyone who's already ordered, I want to say thank you for doing that, and I really would love to hear some feedback. Me and Mr. Crown have put a lot of effort into making sure that this is all of the absolute highest quality, but I'd love to hear some feedback. I'd love to have some photos. Obviously, don't dox yourselves doing it, but yeah, that would be really cool. Thanks for listening, and I'll catch you on the next one.